Okay. Slow. Okay, so Tanjip, we were talking about this first noble truth, right? How do you use? Okay, anyway. So this is the first noble truth that we were talking about. Right? The teachings of the Buddha that we come to know. The main teachings is the Four Noble Truths, in which the Buddha mentioned in even the first discourse, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And I think in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Buddha explained its fundamental part, what the these Four Noble Truths are. And the first noble truth is a dukkha, second is a samudaya, and third is nirodha, and the last one is the magga. Yeah? So, and we were talking about this first noble truth, the dukkha, and I think we managed to go how many? You remember? I think Tan Tita Dhammo said that we managed to cover only death, yeah, right. So sorrow and lamentation, physical pain, mental displeasure, despair, association with the head, and suffering. So anybody wants to say anything on a soka as a suffering?
I think when dukkha is translated to suffering, most people just think of sorrow. They think that Buddha is saying that life is really sad all the time. But he said more than that. So people always associate soka, only soka with dukkha. But it is a fundamental truth of life. Everything, there's a lot of things. Impermanence brings soka when you realize things change. When things change the way you don't want it, when things you don't want happen, there is loss of loved ones, sickness, even something as silly as your team losing brings sorrow to people. It's just part of human life.
Yeah, Sanjeev, do you have anything to say on the sorrow? Soka.
I have the idea same as the cow.
So something
definition of sorrow.
Okay, so this is what the Buddha said in this Satipatthana. Yeah? What is sorrow? The Buddha said, whenever one is affected by various kinds of a loss and misfortune that are followed by this or that kind of a painful state of the mind, by sorrow, by mourning, by sorrowfulness, by inward grief, and by deep inward woe. This monk is called sorrow. Right? So this is from Satipatthana. And further on the explanation, there are 5 kinds of a misfortune, abhyasana. Right? So there's 5 kinds of misfortunes. So
Yeah.
loss of the relatives brings sorrow. Destruction of a property and possessions brings sorrow. Deterioration of a health and a longevity brings sorrow. Yeah? Lapse in a morality and this form of a deviation from right view to wrong view. Right? So and then so 1, 2, 3.
I think some people also get sorrow when they are confronted by the reality of suffering itself.
Mhm. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
What is the Payasana called?
Payasana, yeah, 5 kinds of a misfortune. Payasana.
Yes.
Payasana.
Loss of relatives, destructions of possessions, deterioration of health, longevity, yeah, and lapse of morality. That brings sorrow. Like suppose when this, I think the loss of the relatives is easy to know, and which most of people think about the sadness or sorrow, soka. Destruction of this one little less. Deterioration also brings sorrow and sadness, and not having a long life also brings sadness. And this is the one which normally in a monastic life people, monks or nuns, will experience this. Yeah? When they feel like their sila is not properly observed. There is a stories of it. Monks found that they feel not right in accordance with the Vinaya, so they were very sad. Well, like that. Do anybody remember any stories on that? Chip, they remember a monk who.
Oh, uh, I cannot remember exactly, but it's about the sarai weed lah, weed
Seaweed,
sarai
seaweed,
or
seaweed.
seaweed. Yes. Yes. There was one bhikkhu, one monk, and he had observed sila perfectly, but uh, near the end of his life, he he was he was in the boat, and then he just played the water or something, but uh, his finger took the seaweed with his finger, and then he just saw that, oh, this is an offense. This is an offense. I now I have a mistakes, and after that he passed away, and because of his worry, so he was born as a naka.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was he was constantly thinking of confession, but he couldn't find anybody to confess. Meanwhile, he died. As a result, he was reborn.
Oh,
Yeah.
how do we call apati?
Confess. Confession.
Apati, abat.
Apatideshana. Confession.
Confession.
Uh,
Long abat.
okay. So he wanted to confess, but he couldn't find any monks at that time. So in the meanwhile, his lifespan came to an end. So that's how he died, and because of that, he was reborn as a Naga. Yeah, so that's a sorrow. Sorrow, seeing the lapse of a morality. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a like a loss of a relatives. It's very easy to understand. Yeah? When someone loved one passes away, then that moment we feel lost. Like 6 years ago, um, 6 years ago, yeah, I think 6 years ago, I lost my mother today. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Today in 6 years ago.
yes, every year is different because sun calendar is different. Okay, according to a moon calendar, it was yesterday.
Oh.
5 years ago, when we compared to the 5 years ago, it was 2 weeks ago. So like that. So loss of a relatives, and meanwhile, this sorrow is based on how much attachment do you have. Yeah? The more you have attachment, the sorrow becomes more. And that's why bereavement takes long time. You want to say anything on the
Bereavement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you agree?
That more attached you are, the more sadness there is.
Have so
And
this
I
is
think especially about hoping to get something.
I always thought I was a bit psychotic because I didn't feel sad too long when a relative died. I did feel sad, but then it gone. But then I realized it's because I appreciated while they were alive. After they're gone, they're gone. It's nothing to do with me. It's not really. It was not my fault or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it'd be selfish to want them to stay around.
Okay. What about the destruction of a property or possessions? Why it brings sorrow?
Because
That's delusion.
everyone wants the property to be with them forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
They attach conceit to property as well. Like, oh, this is mine, it's beautiful, look at how great I am because I
It should
have
be
it.
with us.
Yeah.
Right. It is a property. Doesn't matter how expensive is that. It's a matter of how much value you put it in.
I have a one story, and I think this time I had bad luck or something. We anytime Wang Hin people in Wang Hin temple and I travel to the forest in another province, and then when we came back, during the way there is a one volunteer. She has she had ice bucket or something like that, and to put the drinks inside, and she offered to the monks. And at the time after we reached the temple, and she said that, oh, there are some remains inside, so Tanjeep, you can keep it and bring it to me after. So every time I just put the drinks into refrigerator, and then I wash the bucket and just dry it near the ที่ล้างจานภาษาอังกฤษอะไรนะภาษา
Think.
ซิงค์ แต่มันดูไม่เหมือนซิงค์มันจะใหญ่กว่าซิงค์ I just put it around the sink. I dry it there, and the day after I came to see again, and it has gone. I don't know where, and I thought that, oh, maybe some monk took it with them, and I just call everyone and check it again and again, and few days after, she came to take her bucket back. and I said that, oh, it's gone. It's gone, but I am searching for it. I'm trying. And she just complain anything. complain. Oh, and can you wait for it? Oh no, I cannot wait for it. It belongs to my father. That her father has passed away. So this is why just the ice bucket, but it's so value to her.
Yeah.
And she just complained with everything. And the day after, we found it in a library. So the temple boy just took it there without any permission. And I just, oh, why did you take it? Do you know what have I faced?
So that's why it's not an object, it's a value that you put it in. Sometimes it may be very little thing. I have seen there was one boy, he was about 3 years old, and he was allowed to go out from the living room to the garden, and in the garden he found very beautiful one leaf was blown from somewhere, and it was kind of a half pink during the autumn time, and during the autumn time, and he took it, and then he was playing with it, and he said that, oh, this is so beautiful, I found it. And then this boy gave it to his grandmother, his grandmother, and his grandmother took it very carefully, and then respected it. So she put it on freeze, refrigerator, the door, and she always talks about it. And then one day it happened that when she went for a holiday, and when she came back, a cleaner throw it away. It was a big issue. So the leaf hasn't got any value at all, but the value that you put it in makes more valuable. So that's why it's about the clinging, about the attachment to the object that brings sadness and sorrow. And so that's the soka. And obviously there's another too, there's a deterioration of health and longevity. And we don't, whenever we, like people, particularly when we see, seeing the gray hair or wrinkles, and they began to feel sadness. And longevity, again, they don't want to get old and always want to be young, like that. So that is also
but I want to die young, Ajahn. Because I don't see any benefit of living longer.
You should ask Monit. Unmute yourself. Monit,
เปิดไมค์หน่อย
do you want to be old?
No, but now
You're
I'm
old already.
yes. I start too old. Sorry, teacher. I'm sleeping. and
No.
my mom มา my mom แม่คิดว่าเรียนตอนบ่ายสามครึ่งอ่ะแม่เลยปลุกตอนบ่ายสาม
Oh.
โอ้แม่น่ารักจัง
ผิดเวลาไป
You should say I was sleeping, not I'm sleeping.
อ่า โอเค
Okay, so we are talking about the sorrow or sadness, about deterioration of health and longevity.
now
And I was saying that when we experience getting old, we feel sad, we feel sorrow. Yeah, there's a longevity. Are you happy with that?
You're
Getting
talking
if I can accept for aging it cause suffering
Yeah.
but when I accept that it's okay
Yeah.
everyone should all should have old age ท่านจีบ someday
No,
you
I will die soon. I don't want to get old.
Okay, so this is again soka, or the sorrow is mental displeasure, right? Mental displeasure, and this is known as the dukkha, suffering because of this suffering, right? Because of the existence of this, it brings suffering. This is the first dukkha. Right? What about parideva, lamentation?
ปริเทวะ
ความล่ำไร
คร่ำครวญ
Yeah. So this lamentation, Buddha said in the Satipatthana that what is
ความ
lamentation?
ร่ำไร
Whenever one is affected by various kinds of a loss and misfortune that are followed by this or that kind of a painful state of the mind, by wailing and crying and lamentation, by deep wailing, by deep lamentation, by the state of a deep wailing and deep lamentation. This monks is called a lamentation. Okay. This
Thai
is
language is คร่ำครวญใช่ไหม
คร่ำครวญ
คร่ำครวญหวนให้
ร่ำไรรำพันไงตามภาษาบาลีภาษาพระไตรปิฎกอะร่ำไรรำพัน
The wailing.
ล่ำไรด้วยเหรอ
ใช่ร่ำไรรำพันก็คือคำควรอดโอย
คร่ำครวญหวนให้น่าจะตรงกว่า
That's why when
ตามบาลี
when we translate it normally, it's not separated from the soka. From soka parideva, both comes together as a one. Those links one another. Okay. Soka is a loss, and this parideva is a longing for it, or not it's a long time of wailing for it. Okay. There's a mentally clinging to it a longer time. That's why it brings.
Welling the meaning is ข้ามครัวเหรอ
ram
อ๋อล่ำไรลำพัน
รำให้ก็ได้
Yeah. It's a say hysterically.
Some people take it so far.
hysterically
อะไรก็ได้
Some people really get
Yes.
ที่เขาบอก hysteria ไง
In Chinese culture, when somebody died, you will rent someone to come and
ใช่ใช่
hysterical.
เรียก
We used to
ประ
do
ประ
that.
เพณีไทยก็มีนะ เรียกนางร้องไห้อ่ะ
อ๋อ
นางเขาเรียกนางร้องไห้ในวังอะไรอย่างเงี้ย มีประ
What
เพณี
always
เก่า
is so funny for me is
Fun.
when Kim Jong Il died.
Ah,
and they had millions of people to cry hysterically. I'm sure if one of them didn't cry hard enough, they'll get shot or something.
ah, okay.
โอ้
In
ศรี
Thai
ลังกา
we
ก็มีเหรอ
in Thai we somebody will have to pay their money for crying in front of a funeral. The money,
Yeah.
something like that.
Eh?
There used to be an actual job in ancient Egypt, in Rome as well.
Right, so that's why it comes together, soka parideva. Right? When someone lost their the relatives, and then it brings the sorrow and sadness, and then longing for that, or wailing for it. So that's similar to loss of a property, like that.
I think if ท่านจี๊บ die I will have lamentation
Oh,
you want to
Well,
try
Is
do you want to
is
try
that
thatจี๊บ
medical or real?
or you will be happy, isn't it?
no
So lamentation can be very hysterical and unclear, and cannot be. Often it is not a real pain, a real suffering. Only then when you are having a real lament on that. So that's why I say material quality of sound. So and that affects
material quality of
our
sound
physical body
คืออะไร
too.
อะหมอ
Sometimes
Material
นั่น
quality
ดิ
of sound.
แปลว่า
sometimes
อะไรอ่ะ teacher what's the meaning what's the meaning of material
Material
quality
quality
of
of
sound
sound.
how do you say material?
Material I understand, quality I understand, sound I understand, but
เป็นการแสดง
together
เฉย
Just
อ๋อ
a white
ๆนะ
like group of
เป็นการแสดงเหรอ
เป็นการแสดงนะ
อืม
แล้วทีนี้เป็นการแสดงตัวนี้ส่งผลให้ร่างกายเนี่ยมีปัญหาได้ That's the reason of psychosomatic diseases. It's one of the causes of that too. In Nama Rupa Paricheta Yana, you will see the Rupa is affecting Nama.
Nama.
Nama is affecting Rupa. That's also
อ๋อ อันหนึ่งเป็นสาเหตุของอีกอันหนึ่งโอเค
there there are
Yeah.
there are many actors that just acting, but the acting is gradually
Oh.
come into their habits.
And that there are few examples. They
teacher can we use this word overacting ใช่ไหม
that's a little different here. Overacting, just at the front. But this is something like there are the stories that when someone passed away, and initially they were very sad. And when they were very sad, they took refuge on drinking alcohol or drugs. And rather than ability to overcome that loss, there will be more lamenting it. So Parideva clicks in, and with that they will suffer more. And then sometimes, particularly here in the West, some of them, after they have taken refuge on alcohol and drugs, there is a social service to support them, hoping that they will be okay and overcome from it. But having the support, they exploit it and lament, kind of hysterically lamenting it, and gradually it's become there, I must do it. Like a pretending. But as gradually it becomes a real problem, they cannot give away. So that's why some people, they have this trouble that I know I have a problem because of this, but I can't give up. So that's how they experience suffering.
Teacher, you means alcohol is superimposed, yeah? Superimposed cause of lamentation.
Yes.
It's not just alcohol and drugs, though. There are
Yeah.
other addictions.
Other things as well. This is just an example.
Like workaholics want to go back to work.
Mm.
People want to watch movies or listen to music or eat really nice food, things like this.
อาจจะเป็นจากอย่างอื่นก็ได้อ๋อโอเค drug
รำไรรำพันบางทีส่งผลให้ต่อเนื่องก็เลยกลายเป็นนิสัย
ต้องอาศัยสิ่งกระตุ้นนะอาศัยสิ่งกระตุ้นจากภายนอก
Yeah, so that's why this is a lamentation. Okay? I have seen few examples about this. They are physically and mentally well, but they can't well. They can't change. Now this is another one, physical pain. Why do you think physical pain is pain, suffering?
because it's pain, it hurts. It's hurt.
Well, Buddha said in Satipatthana that this any kinds of a bodily pain, any kinds of bodily unpleasantness, or any kinds of a painful or unpleasant sensation as a result of a bodily contact. This is called bodily pain. Okay, physical pain. So we experience bodily pain as stiffness, aches, soreness, tiredness, itchiness, and feeling hot and cold suffering. Yeah? Why do you
now
Because we identify with it.
soreness นี่
sore?
please explain
เจ็บแสบ
teacher แสบเหรอ
Sore,
Soreness.
numbness, like
No, it's just
soreness เหมือน numbness เหรอ
we just use it to describe pain.
ah.
It's not like it's dull pain, not like sharp pain if someone stabs you. It's like pain after, which lasts a long time.
ท่านข่าวพูดอะไรนะ teacher please translate to Thai so ท่านข่าว said about soreness again please
Gradual dull pain.
Like
general, quite general. It could be used for anything. Like muscle soreness. If you went to the gym next day, you are sore in your muscles because there's so much pain. That's soreness. Or if you
กล้ามเนื้ออักเสบเลยทีเดียว
if you were cut and then after the next few days you feel sore on your wound. Very general. Even the headache is called a soreness.
headache as well
เหรอ
Yes, it's very general, everything. Any kind of long-lasting sort of dull pain. Not sharp, not acute.
I hate sharp pain
Okay. So this is a physical pain. Okay, anything about the physical pain is suffering.
Yeah, when you
I
are
like,
or you
I like tiredness.
Okay, and when we meditate, we experience this stiffness, aches, and pains, and tiredness quite often, particularly itchiness. You want to scratch here and there, so that is. Okay, so here,
Yeah, my Master Vision and I think we have a lot itchiness because
Mm,
uh
he always
both
scratch
both of us.
his skin.
Yeah, me too. Like,
but master พระอาจารย์มหาวิเชียร always say that maybe the previous life he was born in
as a
monkey family.
I think me too.
uh,
because I have record my video when I was presenting my presentation, and then I I watched after that, and oh, my presentation is so good, and I got a full score. But why I always crash?
Scratch your head, your face,
yeah, something like that, and like a
always
monkey.
move ใช่ไหม always move your body.
Yes. And after that, oh, I have to be very mindful to solve this problem when I was presenting.
okay. Anybody experience physical pain nowadays?
Oh, now I always meet this problem when I woke up. When I woke up in the morning, I always have many pain in my body, at back, at shoulder, at head, and yeah, arm and leg.
That's
Maybe
because
of aging.
But I have pain during I am sleeping, and I always wake up at midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that.
Oh,
So I cannot sleep.
why, ท่านจิ๊บ you are very young.
Actually,
Why do you have many pain?
when
Because of posture, ท่านจิ๊บ your
it is
posture.
not about how old you are. The physical pain is physical pain, and every one of us has got a different physical buildings. Everyone has different types of what's called a physical body, and that's again based on what karma we have done in our previous lives.
I separated insects. Insects. Separated the legs, head, bottom, and burned it all.
So think about from Chulakama Vibhanga Sutta. My Buddha said that we have different bodies. Anybody remember?
When I am same age as you, ท่านจิ๊บ the sleeping is very well. I can sleep more and more.
According to, when we look at the Buddha's sutta and Chulakama Vibhanga Sutta, we cannot standardize to anything, even the medicine. Same disease, but same medicine, but the effect is different. Like a COVID-19 vaccine.
Yes,
some people experience very different, and some people experience very little, and some people even died.
Yes.
So that's because their bodily structure or physical body is different to one another.
Have you read the Sela Sutta?
Okay.
Sila Sutta.
When Bhikkhuni Sela was confronted by Mara trying to scare her, said, who made this puppet? Who is the owner of this puppet? And then she says, its puppet is not owned by anyone. It arises out of causes and it will dissolve out of causes.
Okay.
Just a
Huh?
bunch of causes.
ภิกขุณี what is her name
Sela,
ท่านข่าว เส
Sela,
ลาเสลา
Sela Sutta.
พระภิกษุณีชื่อเสลา
เสลาเหรอ สลาวป่ะ
มารเข้ามาถามไง
เหรอ
เสลา
เปิด
เอ๊ะ
ครับ
ยังไม่ได้อ่านอ่ะเนี่ย เสลาI could not read it เอ๊ะ
Okay.
เจอไหมท่านจี
ใจเย็นใจเย็น
ท่านจิตตาม is trying to find it for you.
เสลาสูตร
เหมือนไม่เคยอ่านเลย
พระเสลาเถรี In Thai pronunciation somebody may pronounce สลา
สลาว
สลา not เสลา I think
ส่งมาในแชทหน่อยสิท่านจี๊บ
เอาของมูลนิธิอุทยานทำไหมสั้น
เอาเลยเอาเลยเอาเลย
Okay, I found it.
ท่านคาร์ล please send in chat
Okay, here we go. Who created this puppet? Where is the maker? Where has the puppet arisen? And where does it cease? This puppet isn't self-made, nor is this misery made by another. It comes to be because of a cause and ceases when the cause breaks up. It's like a seed that's sown. In a field it grows, relying on both the soil's nutrients as well as moisture. In the same way, the aggregates and the elements and these six sense fields come to be because of a cause and cease when the cause breaks up. Naidam attakatam.
ปั๊บเป็ดแปลว่าหุ่นใช่ไหม
ๆ
หุ่น
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 Okay.
thank you ท่านคาร์ล
Okay.
Sin samyukta nipaya.
ท่านคาร์ล you read ทิปิติกา more and more good good
He's reading every day. Okay. So this is a dukkha, okay? And here further says, any sickness and disease also comes under this. So this is mental displeasure, domanassa. Grief is suffering. And here the Buddha said here again that if there is any kinds of a mental pain, any kinds of mental displeasure, or any kinds of a painful or unpleasant sensation as a result of a mental contact, this is called grief. So I have added a little bit here. Domanassa in Pali term means a bad-mindedness of mental pain. It denotes all sort of mental aversions or displeasure, such as worry, anxiety, depression, dislike, hate, fear, misery, and so on. Mental displeasure also is intrinsic suffering that not only oppress the mind but also torture the body, such as causing stress, insomnia, and loss of appetite, with consequences, impairment of health, and even the advent of death it is truly formidable dukkha.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is one of the famous one nowadays.
Yeah. I think Western psychology is completely misunderstanding it.
Hmm.
Korean side.
Alright. So anybody wants to say on anything on this one? Domana.
I think a broken heart is the example of this. When someone have broken heart, they can eat and have weight loss. I have this experience.
Really?
Broken heart.
I
Yes.
never knew before.
Are
Weight
you
loss.
broken?
when I'm young, maybe เท่าไหร่ 28 years old.
Mm.
Have one.
I thought that you wanted to be single.
Yes, that's my purpose, to be single.
Oh.
Because you broken heart.
But you can know when you fell in love with someone.
How can I know? I know already.
when you know you love, that's already. That at that time I have weight loss, maybe near 5 kilo.
Oh, good diet.
But now I already gain it over and over.
Is that because of you are happy?
Yes. I'm not fell in love again.
Fall in love.
Cycle. Okay. Anything else on this Domanassa?
Nothing.
I think everything is come from thought.
Yeah.
เนอะความคิดทั้งนั้นน่ะ
And
See this
yes,
one.
but the outside factors are also related to mental displeasure, like the bad news.
Like a network of interactions. Hard to point at one thing. I think it's important to know it's just a bunch of causes.
See this one. According, I think Carl knows better about these neurons.
neuron
These
Oh.
neuron cell.
Negative.
Positive things.
And positive.
And nowadays, there are neuroscientists trying to work on this concept, that how these neurons affects our physical body. Yeah. And when somebody is talking or somebody is developing something, these neurons will simply grow and grow and grow and connect, and making a new type, plasticity.
Neuroplasticity.
Okay, so that is developing now. So not a developing, the research going on in this process.
But it's important to understand that neurons are not the whole story. That's just materialism.
Whereas all neurons just develops through your behaviors. through your behaviors, and that's how it's called as psychosomatic health. And then further on here,
Psychosomatic health.
yeah, so psycho means mind, and the soma means body. Right? So here, and the recent research says, if someone is very angry at all the time, then you will have a high blood pressure.
Looks
And
like you, teacher.
uh, okay,
So
similar
you
way,
have high blood pressure.
yeah, maybe that's why I have a blood pressure, because of you always making me angry.
It's
And
not
because of
me.
anxiety, again, irritable bowels.
Manopubangama Dhamma.
Yeah. eh, so resentment, and so these are one of the examples. And again, that doesn't mean that this is a complete cause for these ones. No, it's just one of the possibilities of it. Possibilities.
Yes,
And as
this
I
is the
said,
one. This is the
when we
one
look at the
factor.
Chulakana Vibhanga Sutta, the Buddha mentioned about people have a different physical body, and different lives, and the status are different, because we have been doing it. We have been carrying it.
Yes,
Teacher,
conditioning.
teacher, you mentioned Vipangka Sutta.
Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta.
Chula Kamma,
Vibhanga Sutta.
Chula Kamma Vipangka Sutta.
As Buddha mentioned about it, this why we are different, why we have a physical differences, physical body difference, immunity difference, and everything is different. Each individual are totally different in a physical body. Right? So geographically different, environmentally different. Right? So that's why even the one medicine doesn't work to all. Sometimes the one person may have to take 2 doses, other people may have to take only 1 dose of a medicine, like that. Alright? And here, this psychosomatic research is going on, saying that negative state of the mind always affects to the physical body. And here, as I said early on, in the first jnana, vipassana jnana, right? The nama rupa paricheta jnana explains clearly as well. Sometimes body affects the mind, and other time mind affects the body. Okay,
Yes.
this is again and how this works. So stress reduction improves your emotions and moods, and improve your digestion, see, improve your sleep, improve your immune system, like that. Right?
I agree. Yes.
So that's why we don't have to think too much. Even the nama rupa paricheta jnana, we don't have to think too much. The more we think, we will be only thinker, not a knower. Okay? As we develop our understanding, gradually we will be able to see that. We will be able to understand how mind affects the body, and how body affects the mind. Suppose if you are not eating on time, you will be very hungry. And when you're hungry, you can check your mental state. You
Yes,
become very angry, and the emotion will be very changed. You can't receive others what they are talking about, and that is the body affecting the mind. Similar way, when you need a toilet, and again the physical need is affecting your thought processes, your feelings, like that. And it's similar way, if you look at the mind is affecting the body, then again you can have more examples too. Anyone wants to give example for that, mind affecting the body?
My mom. My mom always have anxiety.
Yeah.
So she had many disease, heart disease and gastric disease and hyperlipidemia too.
What about yourself? How do you give an example of your mind affecting your body?
When I have anger, I realize that my stomach is hot and have a heartburn.
What else?
And body is hot too. And the face is stiff. And muscle is เกร็งใช่ไหม muscle is stiffness เกร็ง
Tense.
And
And then
and my eye is ถลึงอ่ะ
open wider,
yes
bigger.
my eye is more bigger and bigger
like a giant.
I always suspect that if Tan Kao has anger his eye will be more grow up
Maybe get out of the skull.
Okay.
The opposite.
For me, when
the opposite เหรอ
Tajib.
For me, when I was in grade 12, in the first class of chemistry and chemistry, and at the time, it was the first day for that subject, and my teacher just wanted every student to introduce themselves, and at that time it was my turn to introduce myself, and I introduced myself, and then the teacher asked me that, my son, why are you so stressed? Why are you so serious? And I just, what teacher? I am happy. I am happy like this. And at the time I believe that I was happy without notice, because I was stressed every day, maybe more than 1 year, and I did not notice myself, and this is why I believe that I was happy without notice anything, especially my face like this. I am happy. And my friends always gossip me that hey, don't make Jeep angry, so he will kill you easily.
Jeep, you always stress
Okay. So see, you can see mind is affecting your body here. So suppose you have to give a talk, then you will be stressed. You will be mindlessly doing something, physically unaware. Sometimes you experience the heat, the shakiness, and
shakiness
sweating, and these are mind making it. And other times, same way, when you feel very happy, you will be doing things without knowing. You will be saying things without knowing. So that's also mind affecting. Okay. So that's what this is in general way of looking at it. But meditation is different. Kiradam, do you have anything to share on mind effects body?
I had all the examples he said. Well, my dad had very lot of stress. He got gastric issues as well.
Hmm.
And I know a guy who's always very anxious and he's constantly running to the toilet.
Hmm.
But my mom is
My
opposite.
mom too, I think.
She always have constipation.
Yeah. People sometimes when they are stressed, they want to eat. And mind is causing them to eat. And some
That
they can't sleep.
I'm that person. When
Yeah.
I have stress,
That kind of person.
I
So,
always eat.
yeah, that's also mind making it to happen.
Insomnia is an issue for me as well. Not so much anymore, but I can't sleep most times.
Buddha also said that mind when mind is a thinking about things of the day that the one has done, then they can't sleep. They can't sleep. That's a mind making it to happen. The mind affecting the body.
I've noticed there are two kinds of insomnia for me. One, if I was working the whole day, then like the Buddha said, it's overactive mind thinking constantly about what I did. And the other kind of insomnia is if I meditate a lot, then it's not really insomnia, it's just a lot of energy, and then I don't feel tired when I wake up. But the other hand, when working too much and I don't get sleep, I feel so tired the next day, headaches and everything.
So that's a physical body affecting the mind that time. That's why you can't sleep.
I think
Thank
that's-
you. Now you still have insomnia every
No,
day.
sometimes. These days I've been working too much. Not last week, so I got a little insomnia. Especially because I was sleeping in a very cold room with mold and no air and a tin can, so I didn't sleep well.
For
ห้อง
me,
ท่านข่าวเย็นมากเลยเหรอ ท่านสุชน
ท่านกลับมานอนข้างบนแล้ว
อ๋อ
for me, I am trying to solve that problem by drinking cannabis tea. ชากัญชา
อ๋อเหรอ It can solve your problem เหรอท่านจิ๊บ
a little bit. I just started to try it.
อ๋อ
Hey,
teacher ท่านจิ๊บ ate marijuana in yesterday that's right
that's not about your mind affecting body or body affecting your mind. Substance affecting your body. That's why the problem.
Running away from problem.
Okay. So that's not the problem we are talking here.
Thailand now marijuana is the
Allowed.
very hot
bit,
issue because Minister of Health
They are making it legal.
That's good.
Okay, so this is the physical body pain. Okay, and that leads to
teacher I think when we separate thinking from mind this problem is ลดนะ it's when we separate thinking from my mind I think the problem of this is decrease
Yeah.
นะใช่ไหมพอเราแยกความคิดแยกความคิดออกจากใจเราได้
It's not separated from your mind, but you just take out the attachment from your thinking. I think
You don't form a sanya about the Vedana, yeah?
No, ท่านจิ๊บ I want to say about this. If we have more and more mindfulness, so panya, the wisdom can separate thinking out of the mind. So the problem from
You're separating Vedana from sanya.
Okay. Okay, and Chip?
we cannot. We cannot separate thinking from our mind.
Mind is thinking.
oh,
Yeah.
you don't have experience.
No, I
About
have
it.
experience. I have
You are
experience, but
in the contact.
we have state. We have state, and the mindfulness just separate attachment from our thinking in our mind. That what I have, that what I have faced, and like it's not my mind. It's not mine. It's not my thinking. And I saw the thought. I saw the thought just comes up and it's gone, and I did not attach with that thought because of mindfulness. And as Tan Kao said just now, about Vedana, isn't it?
Sanya
and
How said
Vedana as
about
well.
Sanya.
Vedana as well. I think I heard.
Tan Kao, you said about
Yeah.
perception ใช่ไหม
Yeah.
Only สัญญา
And Vedana as well.
เวทนาไม่ได้พูดท่านจิ๊บ
เมื่อกี้ได้ยินอ่ะแบบ
Only สัญญา
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, whatever. But the thought cannot be separated from my. Okay. Except is already vanished, and mindfulness just work after that.
I think when we enlighten ใช่ไหมอริยปุคละ can separate this all the way all the time หรือเปล่า Teacher
We can just identify point of contact with the mind and the mind object.
I don't know. I'm listening. Go on. Go on, Tom. Explain what you understand. I'm learning today.
I think this may be the point of decrease of suffering in Ariya Pukhala. Ariya Pukhala had more and more sati and wisdom.
They just don't attach with their thought, but
because of they can separate. They can separate that.
thought from the mind, but do not attach the thought, so they won't feel.
The first thing is separate. They can separate the thought from their mind. So
there is no
the thought is in mind. The thought is in mind. How you can separate
not
it?
In mind.
What do you think about Paticca Samuppada?
Huh?
Paticca Samuppada.
Think about what?
First,
ท่านคะ you said about ปฏิจจสมุปบาท
The first is
with sequence
Listen what Than Thita Dhammo has to say.
I don't remember the exact formula, but I know like if you can identify the contact without avijja forming sankhara, then there will be no pain. There will be pain, but you don't attach to it. No? It's not about separation, it's about identifying what conditions what and not letting it keep conditioning and causing suffering. So the mind, there is the mind and there is the mind object. Yeah? The ayatana. So you understand when the mind object, there is a contact and you can identify this contact, and because of lack of avijja, it doesn't cause suffering. Doesn't cause attachment.
นั่นแหละ I want to say about this เนี่ยท่านจิ๊บ you wrong
no
No, you
No.
no, Ajahn Chip
Manit.
is not wrong. You're saying
Manit, you listen to ท่านเขา again mindfully
ท่านข่าว said about my and my object ใช่ป่ะจิต my is จิต and my object is cetasik
There is no separation. For separation, you
Right.
have to lose your mind.
Manit go and meditate
อ่ะโอเค Okay, I stop this topic. Teacher, you
What is the Samupada? I need to try and remember those things. Keep forgetting.
So mind will not arise without an object. Chitta will not arise without Cetasika. Cetasika will not arise without Chitta. Although two separate things, but always there, not two separate things.
but is separate from the other.
Separate from one another, but always
But always
Mutual.
always
There is
exist.
no the simile of the two stacks of reeds put together. Yeah, one fold, they fold. You need both.
Alright, so it's not a separation as separation. Depending one another, it arises.
เกิดขึ้นพร้อมกัน
Yeah.
เข้าใจเกิดขึ้นพร้อมกันแต่ว่ามันเป็นคนละตัวกัน ใช่ไหมล่ะ
The suffering is different. Suffering is different. Yeah, suffering is when you cling on to it, then brings suffering. And Arya, they do not cling on it. They only see depending on one another arises. So mind arises with the thought.
ก็
โอเค
หมอ
นะหมอ
จะบอกเนี้ย เดี๋ยวพูดเป็นภาษาไทยก่อน
โอเค
หมอ
นะหม
ก็
อ
จะบอกว่า
เก็ตนะ
เดี๋ยวถ้าจิ๊บก็ถูกหมอก็ถูกแต่หมอจะบอกว่า คือตอนแรกมันต้องเริ่มจากเห็นว่ามันไม่ใช่ตัวเดียวกันใช่ป่ะจิตก็เป็นจิตเจตสิกก็เป็นเจตสิกเนี้ยใช่ไหมล่ะ ก็พอรู้ว่ามันไม่ใช่ตัวเดียวกันแล้วถึงจะไม่มี attachment ไง ถึงจะไม่
Yeah,
ยึด
okay. Yeah, that's right. No attachment. That's it.
ไม่
No
ไม่
clinging.
ไม่ใช่การแยกความคิดออกจากจิต
Yeah.
ไม่ใช่แยกความคิดออกจากจิตแต่ว่า
ไม่หมายถึงว่ามันจะต้อง
มัน
จะต้อง
มันแค่
เริ่ม
ไม่
จากการเห็นก่อน เห็นว่ามันแยก
ไม่
กั
มัน น
ไง
แค่มันเห็นเฉยไม่จำเป็นต้องไม่เกี่ยวกับการแยก คือเห็นการทำงานปุ๊บเห็นการทำงานแล้ว มันไม่ไปยึดติด ไม่ไปมี attachment ด้วย เพราะว่าถ้าเกิดว่ามี attachment ปุ๊บก็คือจะมีความทุกข์ความอะไรมามี suffering มา
โอเคหมออาจจะพูดแล้วทำให้สับส
Didn't
น
we study the Anathapindika Vada Sutta, and which
อ
is
นาถาปินทิกะ
which will completely clear your doubts if you read it.
I think we discussed Anathapindika Sutta previously too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah?
อืม
So
อืมอืม
you can go back and listen our YouTube or go back find out another Pindika. Okay.
โอเค ยอมก็ได้
Okay, now she gives up.
So we will end here.
Monit, so you have homework.
Okay, and remember, I have asked you to read the book written by Walpula Rahula, What the Buddha Taught on Dukkha. I am going to ask you all to speak on that at the end of this Dukkha. We're still few to go, so still there are upayasa, okay, and a separation and still three to go, three dukkha to go. So on Monday we will catch up with the 3 dukkha, and then next week I will be a student listening from you all on the dukkha based on what the Buddha taught. Okay.
It's a very good book. You would love it. It's so easy to read.
Okay.
ไหน what's the name of the book
The book is this one.
oh
What the Buddha taught.
I think there might be Thai translations. Yeah.
what's the link
Link you have to find out.
Rahula
There is this is in Thai translation as well.
one โตละ Rahula
You can find Thai translation. Right? It's not that many pages, maybe about 5 pages.
On the topic.
Yeah. So only
15.
around 7 pages.
เจ็ด
Okay.
หน้าเหรอ
Yeah. So it explains very well on that dukkha. So this is just the overview now we are talking about. Another 3 to go. Again, and after that, I will listen from you all.
So that's on Wednesday.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning. Okay.
Monday's morning
Monday, I will cover another remaining 3.
Isn't there a sutta called Dukkha Vibhanga Sutta? Or am I making that up?
I don't remember. Okay. Anybody wants to say anything before we say goodbye for today? Next week, no late. Okay, Monit. It's a half an hour late.
No sleeping.
I can argue with them.
อะไรท่านทิพย์ you always sleep before learning นะ
No, I have changed.
I always call you
Okay.
to wake you up
So we'll see